Hello. I'm going to explain a little bit briefly of what is Hridaya Meditation, and usually each of these topics is a long lecture, so that's why I said briefly. So Hridaya Meditation, first of all, I'll explain the word Hridaya. It comes from the Sanskrit two words, Hrid and I am. So Hrid means the heart or the center, and I am is this is. So it translates to this is the heart or this is the center. And Hridaya meditation has three pillars. The first pillar is bringing the awareness to the heart. So you'll hear sometimes teachers saying middle of the chest, slightly to the right, and some people think, is that right? Did they just say slightly to the right? Yes, slightly to the right. It points to, the thing to understand also is, because it points to the SA node physically, but the heart is not so much just about the physical organ. Just in the beginning, we need somewhere to place the awareness, because we think, where do we put the awareness? So the SA node is the pacemaker that gives the impulse for the heart to beat, and it's slightly to the right of the middle of the chest. It gives the first impulse for the heart to beat. The heart also is the first organ to be formed when we're in our mother's womb, and then this is the first impulse for that first organ of the human body. And so, like I was saying, it's just in the beginning. It's not so important actually that it's here or there or exactly here. You can just simply bring the awareness to that area. And another thing is, it's not so much about bringing the awareness there, it's also realizing that you're already there. Yeah. So if somebody was to say, okay, feel your right hand, the feeling is already there. It's just bringing the awareness there. So it's just bringing the awareness there, and not just to the physical plane, but when we really connect to the heart, is also connecting to this feeling of intimacy, of closeness to ourselves. In the deepest sense, of course, but still to that intimacy, and also to this feeling of coming back home. Like when we're at home, so we start the meditation like this, when we're at home, we can just let everything go, right? We can lay down on the couch and just drop everything. And so it's kind of the same thing when we say coming to the heart, that when we come to the heart, it's like the mind can let go. It's this grounding where we are and just letting the things be as they are. So this is really what it's meant to come to the heart, just this feeling of already arriving. Yeah. And intimacy, of course. And so the second pillar is the pauses between the breaths. So in many meditations, you'll have the instructor telling you to be aware of the breath. And this is the first stage. First, of course, we have to be aware that the breath moves through the body. And then after, we notice that there's short pauses after every inhalation and after every exhalation. And these pauses are helping to reveal something. So with all these techniques, it's not so much about mastering the technique, but it's also that each technique is like a finger that points to something. Yeah, and these pauses themselves, they reveal something. During these pauses especially, it's easy to notice that there's gaps between thoughts. And when the breath comes to a stillness, even if it's for a little moment, somehow the mind also becomes more quiet. And then when we notice the gaps between thoughts, there's an analogy as well that it's like the gaps of the blue sky between clouds. And we know that the sky is always blue, even if it's stormy or there's thunder or there's rain or it's cloudy for months and days. And the same thing is with the background of stillness. These gaps reveal the background of stillness of our being, which is always there, even now. even when there are crazy storms of thoughts, of emotions, that stillness is always there. So it's not so much about, okay, I have to be still, but rather that stillness is always there and is becoming more aware of it. And so that's where the pauses lead us to. And finally, the third pillar of Hridaya meditation is self-inquiry. So self-inquiry isn't only asking the question, who am I? But it's really inquiring, it's really somehow searching for that very source of seeing itself. So we can notice that we're always aware of our sensations, of our thoughts, of our emotions, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to explain them. Oh, I was thinking this and this, or I was feeling this and this. And we see that no matter what happens in our life, we were young, we're growing, we have likes and dislikes, there was always someone, you could say, to notice these likes or dislikes, these thoughts, to notice that when we were young or becoming older. And yet at the same time, if somebody was to ask, okay, close your eyes and see yourself, you would usually just feel sensations when you close your eyes. Yet there's something aware that we're feeling the sensations, that we're seeing the sensations. So in self-inquiry, it's a question, because sometimes we ask, who am I? That there is no cognitive answer to. And Saint Francis of Assisi, he has this saying, what you are looking for is what is looking. So what you are looking for is what is looking. Just like the eyes, we see out of the eyes, but the eyes cannot see themselves, because that's what seeing is coming from. Yeah, so that's why there is not really an answer to the question, who am I? Because when an answer comes up, there's something or someone that is aware of that answer. So with self-inquiry, we really come to that source. You can say we search for that source of that which perceives everything, that perceives the question, that is before the question, before the answer, that is always there no matter what changes all around us. So I hope that these little things gave you some insight about Hridaya meditation. Of course, you can read more about it online as well. And the main thing is practice, actually, because with practice we really get to experience these things. And it's not so much about a concept or grasping a technique. Like I said, it's where that points us to. And this we can only see with experience, of course. So I hope this has helped. Thank you very much.